Are you able to see it?
Oh.
World
Whoa.
Steam Express, my face.
Oh,
like,
boy.
Like Thomas the Tank Engine, little Chugga Stefanski, the captain. So the video group, the content production team, had a T-shirt exchange, and New Rob got me and gave me what is now my second favorite T-shirt in the world.
Wow.
Chugga
Hold
Chugga,
that up for me
World
again
Steam
so
Express.
I can see.
Yeah, so it says World Steam Express around. It's got a little Chugga, and then when you look, it's kind of like Thomas the Tank Engine style, but it's got like my face on the end of the train, and then you've got Stefanski as the conductor hanging off the train on the World Steam Express. I mean, it's a beaut. It's a real treat. New Robton is back,
It is a real
folks.
treat.
Back.
Wow.
Despite after the Emmy snub, now we're back.
The swag is back, too. That's a strong swag game.
Oh, man. Yeah, that one. That's big. It's big. Like I said, second favorite T-shirt, which is high praise. I have a lot of T-shirts I really care for.
What's one? What's number one?
Miss K got me a T-shirt for our anniversary last year that says simply "Trophy Husband," and I told her when she gave that to me that I would wear that everywhere, and I have.
Sure, you will. That's
I've worn that pretty much anytime we go out together. I like to wear that.
Everywhere.
Shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, just to let her know.
Let her know how things.
Let the people know. Well, she knows, but let the people know.
It's a great conversation
Miss K knows.
piece.
It's just to let the people know.
People enjoy that shirt.
Yeah.
It gets a lot of run when you wear it out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. How I'm noticing that we do not have our customary Zoom as we are now FaceTiming. So then we're sans Gibbe?
Apparently so. Apparently we are sans Gibbe. Hopefully the gutter situation at the Gibbe abode is happening and working and good. And yeah, I saw Baco was with us, which it's always a treat to have Baco in the house. But
Baco's here?
Baco is with us. I don't know if he's on. Is he on the mic over there? Baco, are you ready? Are you on air ready?
Check.
Yes, he is. He most certainly is. Baco, it's great to be with you, brother.
If only he had a light, he wouldn't have had to say check.
Yeah, I know. If he had that would be so helpful. Then everybody could just know when they're on air. That's right.
You'd know automatically when you were on air. Do you have yours set up properly today?
Yeah, we're on. We're good. On air. I'm sure it's show enough.
Nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. You watching the golf this morning? You watch any of this golf?
Boy, am I. Are you kidding? I couldn't love it anymore. I woke up at like 6:30, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just throw the Open on.
Might as well stay up.
Might as well. Sounds like a real treat for me. And sure enough, yeah, it's great.
This course is a real nice mix of everything that you expect to see over there with the fescue and the pot bunkers and the way that, the undulation in the greens, these enormous greens and all of these things, but also appears to be in incredible shape. Like sometimes at the Open you'll get, some whether fairways or greens that are all sorts of splotchy colors, and you get none of that. I mean, this thing looks unbelievable.
It really is great. The course looks beautiful. Oosthuizen continues to play excellent golf. 64 this morning, blistering 64, as they called it.
It seems like you needed to get out in that first group, or in the morning. Well, those are the guys who are having the better odds. They're doing better.
It does appear that way. The commentators were saying that it is still the same. That the conditions have maintained themselves in terms of the wind, but it does appear, when you look at the scores, it does appear that those who teed off earlier have done better thus far.
Yeah, and you could very clearly see the wind has picked up, quite a bit. Rory doing what he typically does in majors, and he's now 1 over, so he gets one couple back, but he was at 3 over at one point. He just can't play the first round. I don't know what the deal is.
He started off hitting bombs, though. His first 2 drives were
He hit bombs.
perfect.
I know it. Yeah. When I watch this, I cannot help but think. I cannot help but think that it is just an incredible shame that something like this was not built on the shores of Lake Erie. I have no idea why there is not a golf course of repute somewhere on the coast of Lake Erie that would tie in, much like Whistling Straits in Wisconsin. What's the one up in Michigan that everybody plays, that's on the lake? There's one up in Michigan, in northern Michigan,
in
like
Traverse
City.
There's Treetop.
There's
a
one
bunch
up there
of them
that everybody plays.
Yeah, There's a lot of
but there's one that's like the one that everybody talks about that they play that's built on the water. Someone will tweet us about it because a lot of people have played it.
Not me.
The idea that there isn't one on the shores of Lake Erie using the water as backdrop is a stunning miss because this would not be that difficult to design a course similar to this with water as the backdrop with the gusts coming off of the lake. There's just no reason not to have it.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it. I think that it's a stunning thing that in this area there isn't a great lakeside golf course. And if there is,
crazy.
I don't know about it.
No, there isn't.
I mean, you have them all over the country when you have the ability to have something on the water, you put something on the water. But no, we don't. Where would be the ideal spot even?
Is it well, I don't know. I mean, we have an entire northern part of the state. Pick a spot.
Yep. Agreed.
You know, you can either do it east of town, you can do it out by Sandusky. I'm surprised it hasn't been done out by Sandusky, honestly.
But isn't your place on the lake a little bit? Your place up there?
Well, I mean, there's no holes on the lake.
Gotcha.
It's Arcadia Bluffs is the one I was thinking of. Arcadia Bluffs. In Michigan, I just found it. No, it's mostly inland. I mean, CIC is mostly an inland course. There's no holes on the water. I mean, there are water holes, but there's none on Lake on Lake Erie.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. Like, let's sort it out. Find some land, build it. Heck, put it where the airport is, downtown. Put it there. Put one right there in downtown Cleveland.
Like by Burke?
Yeah.
Yeah, turn that into...
Like a legit waterfront, $400 a round, great golf course.
Oh, boy.
Where you could host majors.
That'd be awesome.
Whistling Straits, majors.
That's right.
Sort it out. I mean, let's go. When I watch
Chambers
this, I just think,
Bay
why can't that
Washington.
be done?
Yeah, all of that's...
Sure.
Yeah, it's a great thing to be able to have a Linksy style course in the U.S. on a nice little coaster on a lake. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
And for all of the great golf we have in our state, there is only one current tour stop and no foreseeable chance ever for a major to be held in the state of Ohio, and that's a shame because we have great golf here.
It is a shame.
And there's nothing on the horizon. I mean, there's nothing.
No.
So it's not happening anytime soon. And with Firestone gone, one tour stop for this state.
It seems out for a state that has so many of the top 100 golf courses, a disproportionate amount.
Columbus has 4 by itself.
Yeah, that's right.
Camargo, that Camargo or whatever it is down in Cincinnati, that's a top 100. I'm pretty sure Firestone's a top 100, isn't it?
Yeah, I certainly think so.
And I would think Inverness would be close in Toledo.
Inverness, yeah. Inverness gets some events out there, doesn't it?
They have it for years.
Not a major.
They every once in a while get a women's.
Yeah, some type of
but they don't.
cup.
They haven't had a major in a long, long time. I mean, Muirfield gets, they've had the Ryder Cup and they've had the President's Cup, but they're not going to have a major as long as they have the Memorial Tournament. And Jack loves the Memorial, so they're not going to do anything. And we lost Firestone.
Yeah.
Shame.
It is a shame.
It's a real shame.
It is. You can picture something so great like this. Some gray skies. We're good at that. Water. We could be our own Open Championship.
What do you need? You want to deal with the elements? We got elements.
We got them for you.
I finally thought I was out of it this week. I really did. I thought, okay, like we had biblical rain Sunday into Monday.
Every day.
Biblical rain. And it's rained every day, right?
That's
right. So yesterday it didn't rain. It doesn't look like it's going to rain today. But then tomorrow and Saturday, boom,
rain.
Inundated. More rain.
Rain. Unbelievable.
I saw somebody this morning told me that that we have 70 days of sun, 70 sunny days a year in Ohio is the average. And I wanted to say, well, how'd you get to 70? You sure?
What math are you using?
Yeah, I ain't seen it. Not this year, Coach.
No, and we're talking. Yeah, you're right. You were talking when it rains. It's that expression. When it rains, it pours. That has been the truth for us.
Yeah, it's been absolutely crazy. Did you watch the finals last night?
I did. Watched the last 5 minutes. You know what? I thought that at the end, and I could see if you were a Suns fan, if that was your diehard team, you'd say every time Giannis has the ball and moves, they call a foul. Some of those fouls in the last couple of minutes were terrible. And then Booker gets, again, I think it was clean defense. Let him play, but they should just let him play on the other end. Taking all of that away, Giannis's block on 8 and on the lob is an incredible play. And maybe we were wrong in our Chris Middleton. It should not be lumped in a sentence with Mo Williams. So I want to strike that comment.
I think that's fair.
And our association with that comment from the record. The guy,
he was good.
They wanted him to have the ball at the end of the game, and he made every shot down the stretch to give them the lead. When Booker answered, get the lead again and again. Did you see the stat? He has so far in this playoff run, he has 15 shots that he has made to either tie or go ahead in the fourth quarter in this playoffs. 15 shots.
It's interesting because obviously Giannis is their best player, but he's not their money player.
Correct.
So that's a weird spot. Like there's not a whole lot of, I guess probably Shaquille is the only other player I can think of in recent history in my time watching the league who was very clearly the best player on every team he played on, especially in his prime anyway. But in clutch time, they would go with Kobe or they would go another way, just because of the free throws and the fact of the type of player he was. And that's kind of what goes on with Milwaukee with Giannis, where, it is Middleton who's great. I would say that in watching this, the most of the game last night and quite a bit of the first 4 games in general, I don't feel like I'm watching – I don't feel like I'm watching greatness.
You're not watching the best.
I think I'm watching, like, the series of really good.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. Does not feel like a finals to me.
They don't feel like these are the 2 best teams in the NBA. It doesn't feel that way. But they've earned the right to be there, and they're playing for it. Here is the stat I was going to give you. Middleton, most game-tying or go-ahead field goals in the fourth quarter or overtime in the last 25 postseasons. He has 15 of them. 2021, the last person to do it, the only other person to have that many in the last 25 postseasons, LeBron in 2007, which, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that the year when we played that game against Detroit where he scored something absurd, like the last 23
like
points?
28 whatever that was, yeah.
So that's pretty impressive to me. That gets him off the Mo list. A little bit more legit.
Yeah, he is a little better than that. There's no doubt. He's a legitimate. But he's not like an all-star game starter.
No.
Like he's not one of the 15 best players in the league, or I don't even know if he's one of the 20 best players in the league. But he's a nice player. He's a nice player, and he shouldn't have been lumped in with Mo Williams. I think that's right. He's played really well. But like I was saying, when you watch this, I don't feel like to your point. I don't feel like we're watching the 2 best teams in the league, and It does feel like just a war of attrition. There were so many injuries in the league over the last 2 years with the 2 seasons and basically a year and a half from a calendar standpoint, that these are the 2 that remain. And so at least we got a good game. I'll say that, and there was I've seen a lot of the talk about like the Giannis block versus the LeBron block. Stop it. Just stop.
This is game
One's
4.
a game 7.
It's game 4.
On the road against historically the best regular season team of all time. You're down 3-1. This is a game 4.
Yeah.
Okay? And they were up, mind you.
9.
The Bucks were up. Yeah. It wasn't.
Oh, at the time you're saying. Yes.
At the time. Yeah. They were up on the scoreboard.
They'd already completed
at the time.
the comeback, right. The Suns were up 9 in the fourth quarter.
It was already done.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So, it's not it's not the same.
Come on. Who's saying
crazy
that?
Talk. Your boy Darren Ravel. Private school like you.
Oh my.
Sad.
That's all right. All you need to say. You didn't even need to add the private school part of it. Just two words. Got it. Thanks.
That's all you need.
That's all
Makes
I need.
all
I don't need.
I
can stop paying attention to the take.
Yeah, very good. What did you get into last night? Get into any fun?
Yeah, went out. Sam was in town. Our buddy Scotty Monaco joined us. Went out in Chagrin Falls. It was a beautiful night. So had a little happy hour by the falls, a little dinner, and then hung out, played a little pool.
There you go.
On the old pool table.
Are you good at the billiards?
I can play a little bit. I'm very streaky. Like when I get hot, I can play pretty well. But I'm decent. I don't, We play a fair amount with the kids, and we'll get out,
Sure.
I enjoy the game.
I like the idea of the game. I like the idea of having a cocktail.
Yeah.
Playing. I'm terrible. I'm really bad at all bar games. I'm not really good at any of them.
Hold on a second.
No, it's true.
I would imagine you are excellent at darts.
I'm decent. That would be the strongest of it. That would definitely be my strongest, forte of the bar games. But the rest, I'm not real good at what's the one when you do the
shuffleboard? I'm not shuffleboard.
No, you got the little guys.
The soccer one.
The soccer one. That one. I'm not good at that.
Called? I'm not good at that game either.
Foosball.
I'm terrible
at
that game.
The foosball.
Foosball. There you go. Yeah, I'm no good at foosball. Shuffleboard. Like I would always just marvel at Treader and Batonio when they would do the shuffleboard in the lobby, and they would just get it to stop. Like I just look at it, I can't get it to stop.
Shuffleboard's a good game.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I feel like you have such great touch, a deft touch.
I didn't do I had a pretty singular mission when I went to the bars.
True. So, and maybe this is where our college experience was different. In our fraternity house, we had ping pong / beer pong table. We had a pool table. We had a shuffleboard table, and we had a foosball table.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Yeah, that would be probably why.
Yeah. And I used to like to go, right after school, we would go to a pub called Rosencrown, and we'd always start the night there, and we would play some pool and throw some darts, and then make our way out to the clubs for the unsing.
For that stuff. Yeah. So that was good. Yeah. All right. Very good. We had a pretty quiet around here. We got the oldest. I let him take the iPad game in his bedroom. He said, "Look, you can stay up a little bit. You can watch it." He petered out around 10. That's the way that goes at this point. We are inching ever so closer to training camp.
Yes.
Today's July 15th, Coach.
That's right.
Are you aware of this?
Oh, I am quite aware. I'm quite aware.
I bet you are. Yeah. It's amazing how – it's funny. I see all these countdowns to I think we're 49 or 50 days to the Ohio State opener. Obviously, we'd be a couple of weeks after that. But everyone's saying, I can't wait. And I'm like, actually, I would just like a little summer first. Give me a couple weeks of just summer first would be nice to be able to enjoy some things a little bit. Now, I don't know if we're going to get it, but it's going to be here in a blink.
Before you know it, and that's the tough part. That's what we need. We need June and July that are dry and pristine.
They got to come through.
Earn it. They've got to come through. They've got to deliver. And then we're going to get into August, and now we got the Browns. And by the way, the thing that I don't get to enjoy as many of our great listeners do is the September, October, which is typically wonderful here. Typically get at least the first couple weeks of October.
I think you can make a decent argument. Yeah, I think you can make a decent argument that September is our greatest month.
I know. Although we've had some hellacious downpours. That season opener against the Steelers was
no
fun on the sidelines. Zero fun. That was the old
Last
tie.
year was as brutal a weather year. Was last year as brutal a weathered year as you had?
On the sidelines?
You had the 3 straight that were insane.
It went through my rain gear. That's impossible. It's supposed to be impossible that to happen.
Impenetrable. Unless you're on the shores of Lake Erie. And then
for 6 straight hours, right?
As it turns out.
Says, okay. Nobody, I think they can make the claims they make because who in their right mind is going to stay in those elements for 6 straight hours? Nobody would do that. So they don't even test that.
Nobody would do it.
Right. Can you make it home. A couple hours?
You go, all right, I'm done playing.
All right.
You idiot, you've been out here for 2 hours. Go inside. Well, how long do you need the rain? Well, who stands in the rain for 6 hours? Nobody.
No.
We don't need to test the gear this long.
Nobody's that big of a moron.
Huh. No one's that big of an idiot. You're like, it's a little bit like Cosmo Kramer with the gas when he kept pushing it. Remember on the Saab, he kept pushing the Saab. How far can we go?
Yeah.
That's a little bit you in the rain gear.
It was. I passed its limits. At least with the gas, that
maybe
it's
I'll stay out here another
thing.
Hour.
Yeah. It felt infinite, in fact. Quite the opposite.
I bet it did. I was going to say lots to get to on the show today. Not really lots to get to. We'll have some fun along the way, but the NFL news is kind of not great that we do have when it comes to Schultz and Dwayne Haskins. Not great.
Well, that's not great. Did you see, though, a little bit of a Schefter bomb today? Just a little bit of a bomb?
No, what did he drop on us? Is it in the show?
It'll be a teaser. It's about, if you tell me, Deshaun Watson.
Well, we'll get into that coming up next. And that was today's OBM Hot Topics. OBM, Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider, your Cleveland Browns. Have all the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Off and running here on a Thursday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. Beau Bishop here for my friends at EOX Vantage. EOX Vantage connects core systems that don't talk. From reporting and analytics to insight and decision-making, gain a more complete real-time picture of your business. We had this in one of our businesses with the Excel nightmare that they're talking about here, and you can eliminate them from business processes and visualize the important data all in one place. Imagine how handy that would come. Gain real-time insight to make data-driven decisions on performance through role-based visualization dashboards. With EOX Vantage, you can benefit from lower overall costs, better alignment between technology and specific business needs, scalability, ease of deployment, and management. EOX Vantage makes your data work smarter to move your business forward. You're all about growth. Your software should be too. With EOX Vantage, your company will scale effortlessly. Local presence but global footprint, trusted by some of the world's biggest brands, and I do mean biggest brands. All right, hit me with the what we got from Shefty on Deshaun Watson. First thing on Deshaun Watson in 2.5 months.
Yeah, and on Get Up they were talking about where Deshaun Watson could play, and Adam Schefter said, quote, "The Eagles are the most equipped to make a run at Deshaun Watson than any other team out there." So that's something I think to keep an eye on. It's clear that the Eagles are lukewarm on Jalen Hurts, I would say, and that might even be overstating their.
He's a great leader, good human, but look, I mean, before he transferred out of Alabama because he couldn't beat out Tua, a lot of people thought he'd have to change positions.
Yeah. He
played 1 year at Oklahoma, was a Heisman finalist in that offense, and he became a second-round pick. So he's out over his skis to begin with, let alone comparing him to like what Deshaun Watson's all about.
That's right. Yeah. So, and they're a team.
A couple of things on Philly, I think.
Go ahead. I was going to say, they're a team that has proven in the past to be incredibly aggressive. They understand the importance of that position. They made the huge trade up to get Wentz. While they had Wentz, they used a second-round pick still on Hurts. Yep. They're all focused on it. So from a mindset standpoint, that is an organization that would make a lot of sense to me that would say, Howie Roseman's going to say, yeah, let's get our quarterback. I don't care. We'll figure out the rest.
All of that is true. It is also true that they have gotten a lot of assets in the last couple of years in draft picks, so they could parlay that into a trade. And the other thing I would say is they have historically they're not afraid to take chances on guys. I mean, Michael Vick went there. So they've done it before when there's off-field stuff that would maybe stop other teams from doing it. I don't think it would stop them at all from doing it. It's interesting. I would love that because I want him out of the AFC. I don't want him in Denver. I do not want him in Miami. So put him in the NFC. The AFC is just tough enough already. That would make me very, very happy to get him out of the AFC. Yeah,
I'll tell you, I would be as ideal a landing spot as honestly as I could imagine. So I would be all about that. Go ahead. Go to the Eagles. Fine.
Was there any talk to like this being something that could happen before camp? Or is this still like next year?
I mean, if you're talking today about somebody making a run off of making a run at Deshaun Watson, I have to imagine we're not talking about for the 2022 season when we haven't even started training camp in 2021. It would feel to me that.
I mean, there's been no. Yeah, it's crazy. There's no official word from the league on him.
Right.
So he's not suspended. He's eligible to play. Like, it's such a strange thing.
It is a very, very strange thing. It's kind of like, as I said,
I don't know.
They're ignoring it, or they're working it up. I don't know. It's crazy. If you're the Houston Texans, I feel like Deshaun Watson isn't playing for them anyway. So if you're the Houston Texans, you're obviously operating on the assumption he's not your quarterback, whether that is league mandated or not.
Yeah.
But for Deshaun and for the rest of the team in the league, the Eagles in this example, do you think they have a clarity about this situation that we don't?
Jeez. I mean, certainly it's very likely, even possible, likely that they would certainly would know more about it than we would and that the public would in general. Boy, I don't know. I think this is just we talked about this earlier in the week and they're two very different circumstances. Rodgers feels like it's just going to fizzle and he's going to go back to Green Bay and play this year and then he can leave on his own.
Yep.
And that's the way my hunch is based on everything in the last, couple of weeks. But Watson has been all quiet on the Western Front for a long, long time. And the only thing that you get from anybody when you talk about it is that there's really no momentum for him playing this year. Nothing. So beyond that, you're kind of left wondering what is next. And if everyone around the league is just kind of resigned to the fact that, yeah, he's going to sit out 2021. We'll see in 2022.
What's strange about it, you mentioned the radio silence from the league about Watson. Do you remember at the beginning of this, every day the attorney for the plaintiffs was having a press conference, was talking, was saying this, that every day. Busby, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. No more.
Every day.
You haven't heard peep from him? You haven't heard peep from Watson's lawyer? It's like this isn't happening, yet it is happening. And as you said, one of the top players in the game, we have no clue about his status for this season less than 2 weeks from the opening of training camp. None. This is the first time his name's been mentioned, and it was in a thing on Get Up.
2 months.
About where could he maybe play if he plays this year, and Shefty mentions the Eagles, which is just a wild.
I mean, it's wild. Radio silence.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's fascinating, and it is wild. You have no idea what's going to come of it, and the last couple. This is always, as we transition to the only things that are making news from the NFL in the last couple of days, the Richard Sherman situation out in Seattle, and just everything surrounding that. And then the Dwayne Haskins situation where his wife was charged with domestic assault for an altercation July 3rd in Las Vegas, where he got punched and needed some surgery. She allegedly punched him and he needed some surgery, and she was arrested. So all of those, the stuff that we are hearing, this is the time of year where no news is good news. You know, we sit here and we lament about, it's been really quiet, and this has been the most quiet off season that I can recall. And so in terms of a daily news cycle, I mean, you've relied on Rodgers since the draft. You know, that's really been it, because everything else has been pretty quiet. At this point, though, you just want guys to enjoy their last couple of weeks, and we'll see at camp. I mean, that's where we're at.
Stay healthy. We'll see you at camp.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. You saw our guys on the boat?
Well, am I hard of seeing?
What are you hard of seeing?
No. Indeed, I'm not. I love our guys. I just want to get I feel like the camaraderie that this team is displaying whether it be through the Jarvis videos is it seems like a group that really enjoys each other. And I think that camaraderie and that continuity on the offensive side is going to be great. But this is a group, even out there in minicamp, the defense, the bonds that we watched, defensive linemen doing the defensive line drills, the excitement over an interception where they're running from the other field. There's a bond on this team, and I think you need that kind of a bond to achieve something great. It doesn't guarantee that you will achieve something great, but I do think it's an important thing, and it's great to see.
Yeah, it is, and I think the excitement of being on a really good to / great team is something that a lot of guys, you got to remember, for all of the talent on this team, individually, in the sport that they play for a living, these guys have accomplished very little in terms of winning. Jarvis Landry is one of the heartbeats of this team. He came from Miami.
He went to the playoffs once
he
with
didn't
them.
come
Right. That was it.
Right, but he didn't come. It's not like he came from New England or Pittsburgh or Baltimore, a place that wins all the time, like Seattle. Like, that wasn't it. Like, we've had to build our own culture ourselves. It hasn't been brought from anywhere else. And so I think for a lot of our guys, while they are individually quite accomplished, as teams in this league, their last year was far and away the most that's ever been accomplished. So you feel like you're on something. You know that it's a little different. And I think that's how that camaraderie is being built so quickly.
I think it's that, and I think it's the type of human that Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski and Paul DePodesta want in this organization.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go now,
I think that's it.
People are fired up.
A lot of good dudes.
People are fired up. There is such a buzz in this city for this football team, and I get goosebumps just thinking about what it's going to be like to be at First Energy Stadium and what this season has the potential, and that's all it is at this point, the potential to be. So I like to say the privilege of expectations. There are expectations, and there's the talent to back it up.
Yes.
And there's the
and I think, honestly, go ahead.
I was going to say, operationally, you also know that we are going to do things the right way, and I think that gives people a lot of comfort.
Yes. I also think there's pressure.
Immense.
Because the circumstance, tremendous pressure. Because I think the circumstances that we are in right now may not be duplicated for the next 5 to 6 years. And what I mean by that is everybody back offensively, everybody back in the coaching staff. Sure, the defense has to come together quickly, but you were able to go get who you wanted in free agency. That's not going to be the case coming up. This is going to have to come from within. Improvement from this team is going to have to come from our drafted guys developing into starters. The last couple of years we've been able to spend in free agency, go get who we want. We're about at the end of the line on that. And so in terms of a warm and fuzzy offseason where, hey, let's run it back, boys, I think that's why I think there's a lot of pressure on this team this year. I do.
I can say with 100% certainty if this team follows the general path, which is very much a winning football team, playoffs, win a couple playoff games, there's no chance our coaching staff comes back intact. None.
0. Yeah. Yep. And same thing, I mean, obviously offensively you're going to have a lot of changes from this year to next year. But that's a conversation for down the road. But I think that is why, as you start getting into camp, that's why I think there is a feeling of, boy, let's take advantage of this. Let's take full advantage of the position we're in. And I think that you'll see that out of this team. Coming up next, question number 4 of the 10 biggest questions leading up to our training camp in the 2021 season. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers, serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Did you see Rory McIlroy's drive that he just hit?
No, I had turned it while we were searching for things. I had taken it off of the TV there. Did he hit an absolute bomb, a rocket?
Yeah, 290 carry, and he just has the most spectacular swing.
It just looks so
like
athletic.
If you could replicate it, it's so great. It's just like if you'd say, like, go teach people, go do that. That's what you do.
Good luck.
Like, try and do that if you can. It's a remarkable. Yeah, good luck. Exactly. It's so sweet to watch him hit driver. It really is. All right, go ahead.
Have you noticed with the Open Championship, not only is the Open Championship, you and I both love it. We've talked about that ad nauseum, how much we love it. Don't you find that the ads associated with the Open Championship are even better than the ads that aren't associated? Like the Rolex ads for the Open in particular are always spectacular.
Well, that goes to my theory, and I don't know if this is true of the Rolex ad, but it goes to my theory that from our perspective, it feels like there's legitimacy given to anything that is presented with an accent.
Oh, of course. Duh. It's learned. It's sophisticated. Right? It's class.
Like somehow, right, yeah, like that. So I think anytime, like when you hear Peter Alice, you just go, okay,
yeah,
this is a big deal.
Yeah.
This
is as legit
so
as it
I think
gets.
that's probably why it looks like it's honestly, again, as I'm watching this, like this looks like
why could
this
that
looks
be
like
Cleveland?
us. There's a huge thunderstorm rolling in.
Yes.
This is Cleveland.
Right.
Huge. It's going to pour. The wind's blowing like crazy. There's fescue. Like, come on. Why can't we do this? Who hasn't? There's not a billionaire out there who could do this. Like, let's get this thing done.
I agree. Yeah, that looks a heck of a lot like that could be in Cleveland. Kind of flat, just some rolling undulation.
Yeah.
That's all you need. By the way, Tommy Fleetwood just advanced the ball about
That's all it is.
10 yards out of the fescue. 10 yards, pro golfer was able to advance his golf ball.
I like when that happens, though. I do like that. That's what I love about it. There's so many things to love about it, but I love the way that, so many different ways to play a shot. Oh, the other thing I wanted to bring up. Did you see Kevin Kistner in a hoodie?
In a hoodie. The only other person I've ever seen golf in a hoodie is the agent to the stars. He golfs sometimes in a sleeveless hoodie, which is a tremendous look with a golf shirt underneath it.
A sleeveless hoodie?
Yeah, with a golf shirt underneath.
Oh, with a golf shirt underneath.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's to me, like, if once that happens, once a guy at the Open Championship wears a hoodie, then anybody can wear a hoodie at any club, wherever.
Agreed. I think that's a fair standard.
That's set the precedent.
Yes.
So, to me, if you're like a club who's like, oh, you got to wear a collared shirt, you got to be tucked in, I don't know. Kevin Kistner just wore a full zip hoodie at the Open Championship.
What about this guy with the man bun who just stuck it at 16 to about 2 feet? That was an incredible look and an incredible shot. And I'll also say from today's festivities, I was not aware of what a fashion icon and just looker Cam Smith is. I was not prepared.
I don't know I haven't seen him.
He's the one playing with Rory. He's got the very thin mustache,
okay.
the mullet coming out the back. Like,
that's that kid.
Does not look like you would expect him to be teeing off with Peter Alice commentating his work at the Open Championship. And yet, here he is.
No, I do like that kid.
I love him.
I like that kid a lot. Yeah, I'm pro that guy. All right, question number 4 of the 10 biggest questions leading up to the start of Browns training camp. Today's question, which Brown star could be poised for his best season yet? There's one that jumps. It's Miles. I mean,
oh, wow.
He's dealt with suspension, injury. He's got an incredible amount of talent next to him, opposite him, in a defense that now has the best secondary he's ever played with by a wide margin. So now an extra millisecond for him to get to quarterbacks. What's Miles' biggest sack year, like 13?
Yeah, 13 and a half.
Okay, like he could get 20. He get 19. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you could apply this to, and I think you could make an argument for about 10. But he, to me, is the no-brainer. He should have a Defensive Player of the Year type year.
I like that answer. I had gone through these, and this is now the fourth, in a row, and I said I just don't want to say somebody on defense. Every answer was about defense so far.
We're dual purposing here.
Right. So I wanted to talk about the offense, and this is more of a flyer. This is one you would get. The odds on the correct answer to this question being Myles Garrett probably are, you're paying more than you're going to win. He's probably
the leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah, minus 300 there. This is more of a long shot.
Yep.
But I said, I have my eye on the Chief. I have my eye on the Chief.
So I think the only.
So here's
the only thing is, can you as much as we love him, can we classify him as a star? Because we have 10 stars.
That's fair. I took the word star. I wasn't going. I didn't want to.
He's a star in our mind.
I was just looking at somebody who's been with the team for a while that is going to have their best season yet. And so the reason I picked the Chief is I said you make a valid point on the star point, but this got through the editorial board, so they were fine with it.
Stringent.
Yeah.
Editorial board.
It is rather stringent. I said the Chiefs got a unique combination of size, speed, and athletic ability in the Browns tight end room and could be in line for a breakout season. He is the one real seam stretcher and vertical threat that the team has at tight end and has always shown a knack for scoring touchdowns in the red zone. I thought he was playing his best football down the stretch last year. He even led the Browns tight ends in receiving yards in the playoff loss to Kansas City. He really improved as a blocker, and having continuity on offense will, I think, only help this rare athlete play faster and more confident this year. You got Pro Bowler Austin Hooper in the mix. Of course, you have Harrison Bryant. I said, I think there's a ceiling for Njoku from a statistical perspective, but I think he can become very explosive and efficient with his chances this year en route to becoming a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses who will truly have to pick their poison against the Browns' loaded offense. And so I just think I think he's going to become a real factor. That doesn't mean he's going to go out and, his career year, he had 660 in terms of yards. That doesn't mean he's going to go out and put up 700 yards. I just think there's just not enough football for a tight end to do that. And there is still Austin Hooper. There still is Harrison Bryant here. I just like his ability and what he brings to the table in terms of that size, that speed that's different. And when you think about, a team now with Odell and with Jarvis and with even Anthony Schwartz running around and Chubb and Hunt and the Chief, he made a huge third down catch against the Steelers in Week 17. Critical moment. Against the Chiefs, he looked like the one guy that they were having problems with. And I think watching that tape is going to give Kevin Stefanski some ideas because Hoop is I think he's a stud. He's a guy that knows how to get open. His hands are tremendous. We saw that fourth down catch against the Chiefs. Great blocker. He was so much more important to our offense last year than the numbers indicated. But Austin Hooper's never going to be able to do the things David Njoku can. So if he can harness that, and the Chief, we talk about Baker, where's the continuity been for the Chief? I mean, the Chief had 2 good years, then they bring in a new system, right? Falls out of favor.
Yep.
I mean, he was practically on his way out the door in 19.
Asked for a trade.
And now we've got a guy who I just think, look, he's hitting free agency. I know you're going to get everything that he's got, or free agency, the potential to be a free agent. Or he could end up staying here with the Browns for a long term. I think he can have a great season and become the 1-2 can end up becoming, Chief Harrison Bryant, as you have a guy, a Pro Bowler who's paid at the top of his position as he should be in Austin Hooper, who's reaching, at the end of the second year of his 3-year deal, which is, typically where the guaranteed money stops. I think it's a massive year for the Chief and where he fits into this organization and where he fits into the league. And I think he's still a really talented guy. He was 21 when we drafted him. He's still incredibly young. Right, still young. Yeah. And he's that one kind of guy that's a freak. He has freakish athletic ability.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing that's tricky with him is his best season yet will not be defined statistically.
Correct. To me, it's defined on,
if you don't watch us play every week, you're not going to – he could have his best season. If you don't watch us play every week, you're not going to think that he did.
I also happen to think this year if an opportunity presents itself either via injury or him just seizing it and he starts to become a 60, 70% snap guy, I think you could see him where people would all of a sudden start to notice, even if they weren't watching us. The other name I thought about.
Yeah, it's just going to be hard just with touches. I mean, how many? We talk about tempo. We hope that's the way it goes. But I mean, how many offensive plays are you going to get? So, that 35 are going to go to the two backs, right? Is that let's just do it. Let's say, how many plays did we average last year a game? Weren't we right around 70? I thought, or was it a little less than that?
Hold, please. Talk amongst yourself for a second, and I'll get you this for you.
Yeah, I think we can. I know that we didn't have a lot last year, but I think some of that was by design. We were protecting our defense, so we didn't have as many snaps as we certainly would feel like we're going to have this year. This year, I don't think Kevin Stefanski will have to do what he did last year to protect the defense. I think he'll be able to play the way he wants because he can trust the defense on the other end of it.
Yes.
The question becomes then, if you have however many snaps we have to work with, if it's 75 or if it's 80 or whatever the number is that you're going to try to get to this year, whatever that number is, almost half of it's going to go to the two backs.
Yeah. That's why I just think it's from an efficiency. If he gets to be the point where he has a couple 20-yard catches and maybe a touchdown every couple games, that's where he's going to be. That's where I think he makes his impact, and I think he can change the game with big plays for us, and that's what I'm looking at for him more than anything. All right, so snaps on the offensive side, total. This would include the playoffs.
The Chargers.
If you have it based off
team. The
team,
Chargers last year led the league with 70.
Okay.
Right?
Baker played
1,063.
177 snaps. The leading snap player on our team was Treader. Treader 1,192, and that would be in a grand total of 18 games.
Yeah. But just from the perspective of last year we were 21st in the NFL in plays per game offensively at 63.7.
Yep.
Okay? The Chargers led the league at 70.4. So if you're to believe that we'll be in the top 10, and I think we will be, you're somewhere between 65 and 70 plays. When I'm 80, I'm thinking college.
Sure.
You're talking about
per game.
That many per game.
Yep.
Let's say you're at 65. Just use the number 65. The Chiefs are at 65.9.
Okay.
So if you're at 65 plays per game offensively, and the intent on, 38 is one of the two backs?
Okay.
Chubb's going to be 20, somewhere in around 20 or better. Hunt's 15 to 18. Or maybe it's 12 to 15, somewhere in there, 12 to 16. You get the point. You're dealing with about 30 snaps.
It's hard for anybody to get the ball on this offense.
For everybody else.
Yes. And
it's 30 snaps for everybody else.
And that's
30 plays, not snaps.
He can break out without.
Right.
He's not going to have 700
breaking
yards.
out.
Right.
No. It'll be very difficult even for – and I think, Baker was so efficient throwing the ball last year, the second half of the season. It's still going to be hard. I talked about Donovan Peoples-Jones. He could ascend and have 275 yards receiving.
Yeah. Hollywood's going to have a tough time getting back to his numbers. Jarvis and Odell, that's what people – I think Odell, for example, is the guy who I think can recapture his form, but that's not going to mean in this offense 1,300 to 1,400 yards and 11 to 14 touchdowns.
No.
Touchdowns, I guess, would be more possible than the yards, but the yards, it's just not going to happen. There aren't going to be enough targets.
No. There are not enough plays. Even if you go up to 65, 66, there just aren't enough plays to distribute it out. So it's going to be tricky. But if you watch the games, I think you make a great point about Chief. And you just saw how enthusiastic he is to be a Brown. It was good to see that last year.
Yep.
I'm so glad that got sorted out in the offseason, that he was able to come back, the contributions he gave down the stretch, what we've seen of him in the offseason. Everyone loves him.
Yes.
He's a great dude. He's just one of the best guys. So you really are hopeful that it can be, and I'm with you. I think that it can be. It just won't be something where if you don't watch us week in and week out, you might not believe it. Because statistically it'll be hard, to prove it out in that way. Whereas I think statistically, obviously, with Miles, it'll be a pretty straight, direct line in terms of, the impact he'll be able to have.
The other guy I was going to name was Takk McKinley because I think Takk McKinley could end up this season with double-digit sacks.
Well, the thing is just star, though, again, is where that gets you.
Clowney. You just say Clowney's a star. He counts as a star. I think he could have his best statistical season ever.
Clowney, Miles, Denzel, Johnson. Defensively, would you? I mean, we can't do Delpit or Owusu-Koramoah yet, or Ron, it's just too young or unproven. But I would go those 4 stars defensively.
Yeah.
And then Baker, Odell, Jarvis, Chubb, Hunt.
The entire offensive line. But, I mean, how do you...
Right, but they're not... Yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of stars.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stars. We'll get into some tight end rankings coming up at the top of the hour. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You guys are down.
His best contacts and eyeglasses.
You're stacked.
Yeah.